Jamaica. Make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is...
Heroes Weekend, Sunday, October 19. The only place to be is Sabina Park for a rise to the occasion with Sizzla Kalungi. Get your tickets at Gina's Pharmacy, Portmore, Fesco, Ferry, Beechwood Avenue, and Stony Hill. Signature Style, Central Plaza, Halfway Tree, Wicks by Gray, McMaster, Super Center, Kaya Herb House, Kingston, and St. Anne. Or online at risetotheoccasionlive.com. Pre-sale tickets $6,500 General, VIP $13,500.
Rise to the occasion. Look at yourself and say you're strong. No one can stop you. Yeah.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
It's time.
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio?
We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, Singer, and IslandNet Services.
I love waking up every day in this country. This is where I was born and raised. I have such a passion for my country, and for me this is home. In Jamaica, lots of people, they look at just like beach, sea, sand, but our mountains are something to behold. It's majestic up there, and it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of lifestyle completely. I could mention many different places that are amazing, but the one thing I do love about Jamaica as well is that you can find that relaxation, you can find that chill in your backyard. Apart from it being an incredibly beautiful country, an incredibly beautiful island, we have a wonderful, wonderful culture, wonderful, vibrant, colorful people. There is definitely a realness to Jamaica. There's definitely something that no matter what keeps you in touch with reality here. Why come to Jamaica? It all comes back down to Jamaica as a whole. The food, the music, the culture, the people, the climate. Come out and meet us, come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
This Heroes Weekend, Sunday, October 19. The only place to be is Sabina Park for a rise to the occasion with Sizzla Kalungi. Get your tickets at Gina's Pharmacy, Portmore, Fesco, Ferry, Beechwood Avenue, and Stony Hill. Signature Style, Central Plaza, Halfway Tree, Wicks by Gray, McMaster Super Center, Kaya Herb House, Kingston, and St. Anne. Or online at risetotheoccasionlive.com. Pre-sale tickets $6,500 General, VIP $13,500.
Rise to the occasion. Look at yourself and say you're strong. No one can stop you. Yeah.
A mammogram can shape your motherhood. The Jamaica Cancer Society, helping women now. Visit the website at jcs.live. Early detection saves lives.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music is a play, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it dark, shine your lights
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these four boys dream of playing in the ISA schoolboy football competitions.
Will you score this for Casey? Will you score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
Welcome to Lead Story. I'm Joel Crossgill. Parliament on Tuesday began the debate on the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, which, among other things, seeks to widen access to expungement in potentially deserving cases. Opening the debate, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said the legislation represents a balancing act. Now here's Akeem Orit with this overview.
In Barbados, the sentencing limit for expungible offences is 7 years. In Jamaica, that number could move from 5 years to 10. That's, however, only applicable in certain cases if the Parliament agrees to the amendment of the Act that governs expungements. Justice Minister brought the bill Tuesday.
We are going to lift the sentence so that expungible offences will now be eligible, notice not entitled, eligible for expungement if the sentence was less than 10 years. In other words, moving from 5, we're moving to 10. Also, we will be removing a number of offenses from the third schedule. But the most important one is that we're going to remove Section 7 of the third schedule, which deals with drug offenses.
The minister explains the importance of extending this perceived second chance to drug offenses within a certain range.
Tens of thousands of offenders in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and maybe even over the last 10, 20 years were caught dealing and exporting marijuana, cocaine, and other drugs. These offenders have not caused any victims. They were caught with drugs. And many of them have had their conviction paid their fines, served their sentence, 20, 30, 40 years after, their life has been held up. They can't move on. And those offenses are just not expungible at this time.
He notes the challenges over the years to thousands of Jamaicans to travel, explore opportunities abroad long after a singular expungible offense may have been committed. He says the ministry has over 2,000 applications for expungement. He says if the offenses, however, occurred,
the offense that attracted a non-custodial sentence was after the 1st of January 2005. It is not automatically expunged, is that clear? So if the sentence was 2010 and it's a non-custodial sentence, it may well be eligible for expungement, but it is not automatic. So those persons who had a non-custodial sentence for an offense that is expungible after January the 1st, 2005, you still have to apply for your record to be expunged.
The opposition spokesperson shared as much on the matter.
So I wonder if the minister might consider including a clause which would speak to the fact that non-custodial sentences, at a minimum, ought to, once the rehabilitation period is served, ought to automatically be treated as being expunged. That's my first recommendation. My second recommendation to the minister has to do, again, with seeing how best we can actually cure the backlog and ensure that persons are no longer waiting 2, 3, 4 years, and in some cases even 5 years to get their records expunged. And we do understand that one of the challenges comes from how often, or perhaps the lack of frequency with which the board actually meets.
Welcome back to Lee's Story. Joining us to delve deeper into the issue of expungement and rehabilitation is Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. Minister Chuck, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, good evening to you and your viewers and listeners.
All right, can you tell us what is being considered in this debate?
We're trying to widen the number of persons who can have their criminal convictions expunged. At the present time, only those persons who have served a sentence of less than 5 years or had non-custodial sentences for offenses that are not listed in the third schedule are now eligible for expungement. If and when the bill is passed, we're going to ensure that all offenders who had non-custodial sentences up to 2005, the 1st January 2005, that those sentences will be automatically expunged. In addition, a number of the offenses in the third schedule have now been removed, including a very important one, drug offenses. So at this moment, drug offenses, those offenses for dealing and exporting any drug, is not expungible. But we have decided, as a matter of policy, and which we hope Parliament will approve, that those persons who have been convicted, many of them over 10, 20, 30 years, and have those convictions still on their record, that we will make them eligible for expungement.
Minister Chuck, what does this consideration potentially remedy?
It will ensure maybe over 100,000 persons who have convictions, whose lives have been held up. They can't get a visa. They can't go on farm work programs. They cannot be employed in many areas of business, the security forces, and eventually when the JTA Act is passed, Jamaica Teaching Council Act is passed, that many of them can't even become teachers. The truth of the matter is that many of the offenses that are now not expungible could be offenses that really don't affect them now, because for the last 10, 15, 20 years, after they committed the offense, paid their fines or served their time, they're no longer showing any criminal propensity. And the idea is that after you have paid your debt to society and you can demonstrate that you have served 10, 15 years in the society without any further criminal conduct, you should get the opportunity for a second chance. So expungement is about a second chance for persons who, maybe just one occasion, have actually breached the criminal law. And once they no longer pose a threat to national security, they should be given the opportunity to have that offense expunged.
Minister Chuck, I know many Jamaicans were relieved when the government put in place an opportunity to have records for the possession of ganja expunged. Could you tell us about some of the feedback that your ministry has received since that came into effect?
Oh, that undoubtedly, for simple possession of ganja, they were automatically expunged. And this is exactly what we're going to do with offenses for which the sentence was a non-custodial sentence. Once the offense is expungible, just as it is now with dealing and exporting marijuana, cocaine, or any drug, once it was a single conviction and it has been for 10, 15, 20 years, and those persons demonstrate that they are deserving of a second chance, those will be expunged. So it means a lot to maybe over 100,000 persons who they see where the ganja offenses have been expunged and they no longer have that criminal record. Others have convictions for dealing and exporting, and that may have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. They too are asking, could their offenses be eligible for expungement, which will mean a second chance for them.
Minister Chuck, our audience is very fond of data. We want to know if any studies, perhaps in other jurisdictions, have shown the benefits of a similar move to the one that Jamaica is embarking on.
Oh, undoubtedly. And, many countries have differing positions in relation to expungement. There's some countries that after a period of rehabilitation of 15, 20 years, any offense can be expunged. In the Caribbean, in say Barbados or Bahamas, they expunge, Barbados will expunge any offense once the sentence is not greater than 5 years. Now, this is the present position in Jamaica, but we still have offenses such as murder, treason, rape, robbery with aggravation, really serious offenses. But we have now raised the sentence in this bill. So if there are sentence offense was say 6 or 10 years, you're now eligible for expungement. In the Bahamas, they still have a number of offenses still that cannot be expunged, but their rehabilitation period is 20 years for indictable offenses and 10 years for misdemeanors. Other countries such as Canada, everything is expungible, and they put it, as the sentence as such is suspended. So it doesn't show up on your criminal record, but it is there in the event that you should commit another offense. There's no doubt that various positions exist in many other countries, so that England has expungement, and every country, to the best of my knowledge, has seen the benefit of providing expungement and a second chance for offenders once they have not committed really serious offenses. Because if they have committed serious offenses, they may still pose a danger to the society. And just like us, we're not going to make them expungible at this time.
Now, Minister Chuck, your role in promoting advocacy for restorative justice and now we're seeing this potential expungement bill coming to the fore. Is this reflective of a more compassionate justice system?
Absolutely. We have to ensure that we have some empathy in dealing with everybody. And we're not going soft on crime. Don't get me wrong, because the sentences will still be imposed if you commit crimes. One of the things I would like to convey to persons who have convictions and who have difficulty getting expungement is to tell potential criminals it is nothing but disappointment, despair, and frustration even after you have served your time in prison, or many years afterwards, you can't get it expunged. No, this is an opportunity, and you mentioned restorative justice. We may well tell persons who have had served time in prison, up to 10 years, that they may well have to do a course in restorative justice before we actually consider your expungement. So restorative justice is about ensuring that parties find ways and means to settle their conflicts, so that within the act itself, we will be given guidelines to the expungement committee, a number of matters that they will take into consideration, including the nature and gravity of the crime, but more importantly, whether or not they have gone through a program of restorative justice or other alternative social justice means to ensure that they keep calm, or they can control their anger, because that oftentimes is what causes many persons to engage in violence and other crimes.
Minister Chung, our newsroom have received complaints, concerns about the pathway back to employment for people who have had convictions in the past. They believe that they have no threat of recidivism. Indeed, some of them even gained not doctorates, but certainly degrees while in programs in prison. Do you think that this will, in effect, help remove the stigma from some of these individuals and help them reintegrate into Jamaican society more seamlessly?
Absolutely. And this is the very basis and focus of expungement. Many persons who have convictions cannot get a job. Many of them have done degrees. Many of them have done master's degrees. Some of them are, in very important positions, but oftentimes they can't even travel. They can't even go overseas to do further studies. Where it is coming up now is when a number of persons are trying to get jobs or trying to go in the farm work program or the hotel workers program. And when they get their criminal record, they notice, or the criminal record show that they had a conviction 30, 40 years ago. Many of them have forgotten about it. So what we will be doing when we pass this act, if the crime was 30, 40 years ago or before January the 1st, 2005, they will be automatically expunged.
Minister Chuck, forgive me, we're absolutely out of time, but thank you so much for spending it with us. Minister Delroy Chuck, that was hearing about the debate on expungement. After the break, we hear from spokesperson on youth and human rights, Isaac Buchanan, who joins us by phone. Stay with us. This is Lead Story.
BCIC is giving up to $5 million in free content insurance.
We've developed a free online calculator. So anybody in Jamaica, any homeowner can go on to BCIC online. You don't even have to be a BCIC customer, and it will give you a building value.
When you update your home's rebuilding cost with our online calculator, you'll get $5 million in free content insurance and up to 12 months to pay your premium.
If you're not insured, go get it now. Better to be safe than sorry.
Welcome back to Lee's Story. Joining us to provide a reaction to the matter is opposition spokesman on youth and human rights, Isaac Buchanan. Mr. Buchanan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and good evening to your viewers.
All right, so your initial thoughts on the beginning of this debate?
All right, so the first thing I would say is anything about rehabilitation and second opportunities is always going to be welcome. So I'll start by saying is a step in the right direction. I think, however, that there are several issues that needs to be ventilated. For instance, we do need a national policy on rehabilitation, which will direct us in terms of what it looks like and who can get rehabilitated, clear demarcations as to what it is society is looking for persons to be reformed.
We've heard from the minister that this could potentially impact up to 100,000 Jamaicans. How significant is that and their reacceptance into society?
Well, I will say it is significant. It is a good thing, but we must remember that when we deal with policy, we have to look at it to minimize discrimination. We have to look at how context actually matters. So there are many more persons than 100,000 persons who are affected. A simple thing starting a start date of sometime in 2005. A simpler formulation would be to ensure that recurringly persons, when they hit the 20-year mark, for instance, there would be some automatic eligibility or automatic expungement of the particular conviction so long as the 20-year mark. So there's a little bit more that would be expected from it to impact the lives of others. There's a particular section that I want to speak on, though, which affects Section 4, and that's in relation to foreign convictions. There's some ambiguity in terms of a benefit to persons who have convictions outside of Jamaica versus those in Jamaica. And